Hi guys, so I'm in my kitchen today. I only ever do that when I want natural light. Before we start, just ignore my hair. I curled it yesterday and dyed it, and I don't want to put any more heat on it. I don't know what the hell is happening here. It's not a complete and total disaster, so I didn't want to put any more heat on my hair. So just ignore, you know, how messy my hair is. However, what we're really here for, I want to do a review on the few pieces I got from Rare Beauty. I was tempted to get their foundation, but I know I'm probably not going to use it. I got a blush and I got a couple of brushes, and I just thought a blush and a concealer and brushes just isn't the most exciting review. So instead, I thought I'd include some about face. I bought a couple of about face bits in November, so I've tested them out and I have my thoughts. I just thought it'd be a more interesting, honest review on two separate brands where I've picked up a couple of pieces, so hopefully this is enjoyable. So if you don't know, Rare Beauty has recently come to the UK. I actually got a free primer from them, like a little mini illuminating primer. I don't normally use illuminating primers. Actually, before I use this, I probably should put my moisturising essence primer on because my nose is so dry at the moment. So I got one of their free illuminating primers. It's very pearlescent. That is going to be way too much. So this is going to do me for a while, to be honest. Look how pearly that is. That's just in natural light. I have no ring light whatsoever today. I'm basically just going to put that in my high points. So it's not sticky or tacky or anything like that. It kind of melts into the skin quite nicely and just leaves you with a nice kind of natural radiance, which I think is quite pretty. I'm going to put some on the high point of my face too, and down my nose a little bit. The only thing I don't like about these kind of primers, because I actually bought the Charlotte Tilbury one recently, I don't know what I was on. I love the names of this. Always an Optimist. So sweet. I love Selena Gomez. She's so nice. The only thing I have with these kind of illuminated primers is you're basically just going to cover this up with foundation, so I kind of don't see the point. The minimal makeup look, you do tend to use less, so you can see a little bit more. In general, I don't really notice anything. I'm just going to go in with my Wet n Wild foundation stick, and then I'll come back to show the concealer. So I only went in with a light layer of my foundation stick because I wanted to show how much the concealer could do. The bottle's really nice. I know the foundation's in something very similar. It's got this almost like, I want to call it like a Smarties or Galaxy Minstrels kind of little button. I think it's really cute. I know that, I think it was on the Robert Welsh one when he was talking to Selena Gomez, and apparently this has also been created with the mind of someone with lupus. So the concealer has like slant to it, which it holds a nice amount of product, but I'm just not used to using this kind of doe foot applicator style. I think it's meant to be so you can get like directly up underneath your eye here. I kind of just want some here and here. It hugs my face quite nicely. So I'm going to use the Rare Beauty brush, like the concealer. I think this is the concealer brush. It's quite a nice little chubby brush. It's quite stiff, I will say. I actually like a slightly fluffier brush than this nowadays. Like I literally use like eyeshadow brushes most of the time to do my concealer. But I do like how small this is. Now, this is very illuminating. It's a very, like, dewy looking concealer. My under eyes look not super covered, but very dewy. You see here, like it's not as covered as I normally like. It's nice and brightening. I got the shade 120C. I always get like a cool undertone. It's already starting to crease, but that's pretty normal for me, to be honest. If I put anything under my eyes, like right here, I tend to get creasing. That's why I try to lessen it as much as possible, but sometimes I'm a little heavy-handed. I don't think it's showing up on camera because I've got like some nice natural light, but I can see a lot of purple still, like a lot of purple. So I'm going to go in with a tiny bit more. I feel like it's hard to use a little bit with this concealer because of that curved kind of brush. It's definitely not full coverage. I'm going to go over my nose. It does go really far, which is good. I'm just going to blend that out with my foundation brush a little bit because I feel like that small one's not doing that big area. Definitely brightens really well. How much it's creasing, look. Colourpop No Filter powder. I'm gonna get like really up close to make sure that I set this really nice and well. And then we're going to go in with some cream blush. Set the rest of my face in a bit, but I wanted to go in with... Selena Gomez does have these liquid blushes that again look very similar packaging to this. But I really wanted this one. This is the really neutral blush. It's in one of these like Polly Pocket style ones. And this just, oh, it's so pretty. I also got the foundation brush. I cannot speak today. I used this for foundation recently, but it wasn't my favourite because this angle that it's on, it makes it kind of, for me personally, more difficult to do my foundation. So I'm just gonna pat a little bit off on my hand because the last time I went in with this, it was more pigmented than I thought it was gonna be. I knew the liquid blushes were like really pigmented, but I didn't expect like these gel formula to be ridiculously pigmented. I kind of go in the blushy areas, like 80s style, that really like pulls my face up. I think this is definitely better for blush once you get used to the shape because of the pressure and the shape of this brush. I look super dewy and youthful right now. I like. Okay, I'm gonna do brows, bronzer, highlighter, then I'm gonna come back for eyes and lips because putting on eyeshadow primer because one of the products for eyes I have a gripe with, but I'll get into that in a second. I just wanted to show you how like glowy my forehead is. I only put like a tiny bit of highlight. See where that white is? That's where I put my highlight. Everything else that's glowy, like my nose, which I'm definitely, I think, gonna have to set. That is all this concealer. This is a very, very, very dewy concealer. If you like really dewy products, you will love this. I think I'm definitely gonna have to mix it with other products maybe to get through it, but unfortunately I just don't think it's right for me. I've also had really, really bad creasing. Look how bad that is. To blend it out like every couple of seconds, even though I did set this with powder, which is really, really, really frustrating. Try and put more powder on, just so you can see that I'm trying to give these products a fighting chance, but unfortunately I don't know if they're meant for me. If I put any more on, it's just going to crease even worse. So, okay. So for eyes, we have a little bit of a situation. I have an eye paint. However, I do want to show you the Rare Beauty mascara. Unfortunately, one of the only products I'm like, yes, this is a really, really, really die-hard good product. I would definitely repurchase. It's funny because I literally just repurchased my favourite Holy Grail Pat McGrath mascara, and I feel like this is it's not ridiculously more affordable, but it's more affordable dupe, and you can get it in a small size for about £12 if you want to try it. I'm going to curl my lashes and put the mascara on, and then I'm going to go into the About Face eye paint so that you can see the product before I apply loads and loads and loads of black eyeshadow. This is, like I said, a mini because I wanted to test it out and I didn't want to buy a big mascara if it wasn't very good. So this is what the brush looks like. I thought this was going to be an hourglass, but it's slightly, very, very lightly hourglass shape. Quite straight up and down. It's got the tiniest curve. Now personally I normally like the hourglass brushes, but what I will say is this does give me really, really good volume and length. Already I think you can see that's pretty fucking good. That's just one coat. I feel like this mascara, it does group them a little bit, but it also really like lengthens, separates. So that's like a very like natural, like NARS Climax kind of thing. But if I do a second layer, now I will be honest, I haven't redipped. So that's 2 and this is 1. And I trusted Robert Welsh when he said that this is his new favourite mascara. Because this is so pretty, so pretty. Just as good, maybe even slightly better than my Pat McGrath. And I will insert the clip that I did when I reviewed Pat McGrath so you can see the difference. It's 1 coat of Pat McGrath and Maybelline. Is 2 coats. This is the only product I haven't tried. This is the matte Paint It lip colour. Also, I hate that these come in like exactly the same packaging, and the only difference is this one is clear and this one is like completely black. Me having them in my makeup bag, I'd forget which one's which. This is a completely black liquid lipstick. It's very scented. Comes to a nice point. It's a little streaky. So like every time I go over it, it's taking colour off. Can you see here? I haven't worn a black lipstick in a long time, so I'm going to let it dry for a sec and then try and put on a second coat. Okay, so I'll give it a couple of minutes. I'm going to kiss the back of my hand to see if it transfers. Not too bad. Not too bad. I was going to put another coat on, but because I really want to show the nude lip liners and lip gloss, I'm just going to leave it for now because otherwise it's going to take forever to take this off. However, let's talk about this fucking eye paint. I don't like this. And I'm actually really pissed off that I've got this in my collection. I have no clue what the fuck to do with it now. I've used this twice. I used it as I normally would use a liquid eyeshadow. Most liquid eyeshadows you can go in and you don't even have to put a primer on underneath because they're almost like a primer and eyeshadow in one. Do like a nice liquid cat eye and be done with it. I'm actually going to take quite a lot of it off the doe foot. And then I'm going to paint this brush. Because maybe I was just using too much. So the first time I used it, like I said, without an eyeshadow primer, expecting it to be like any other eyeshadow, it creased. It creased really bad. So I have very oily eyelids. I'm oily in general anyway, and it creased. So I thought, okay, next time I use it, I will use an eyeshadow primer. No, that creased too. So as you saw, I put an eyeshadow primer on, and I'm basically just going to give myself black eyes. And I'm being really light on the way I'm doing this. Obviously, you would normally do this before the mascara, but I wanted to show you what the mascara looked like. I will clean that up afterwards, but that's basically what I want to do. I just want to do that on both sides, and I'm just going to fucking hope for the best. I'm very goth today. Just trying to blend out the edges a little bit. I'm going to go over it one more fucking time, and I'm going to go over it from the doe foot. So I've given it like a base of its own product. And now I'm just going over. I'm going to give that like an hour. And then I'll come back on camera and show you if it creased. But in the meantime, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to show you the other about face. And by the way, I just did a kiss test. And it hardly transferred. So yeah, I got two of the matte lip pencils. They are very much almost the same colour. So this is After Party. And this is Clockwork. Clockwork's a lot more warm. So I think I'm going to use After Party. These are very gel formulated. Really nice lip liners. See how like creamy that glides on. So as you saw, I really easily just filled in my lips with that. Very creamy lip liner, very nicely pigmented. I think a really, really good product by About Face. You can find other lip liners that are just as creamy, and I do think these are very nice. Then I also have the Light Lock Gloss by About Face. This is in the shade Adore Me, and again, it's like a very cool tone shade. This is a very plumping lip gloss, and it's quite pigmented. Actually, I don't know if it's plumping, but it definitely has that like minty sort of smell to it. You can see how shiny that got. Okay, the last thing I just want to share is the Rare Beautiest 4-in-1 Mist. So I'm going to shake this. I mean, this looks promising, right? It looks okay. It's not the best, but it looks okay. The problem I have with this is the smell. It has a smell to it that's very like floral, which I personally just cannot stand. So I'll probably use this up and then just never buy it again. Now I do use this as a primer sometimes as well. It is a nice primer. It tastes bad too. So in general, I think, I hate to say it, but similar to when Fenty Beauty first came on the scene, I just think it's overhyped. The mascara is probably the only thing of Rare Beauty that I'm like, yes, I'm so glad I bought that. The blush is nice, and I love that it's like a Polly Pocket kind of style. But it's just not, I'm not wowed by it. I just don't think it's the best. About Face, I think the actual liquid lipstick's probably a good a good find. I just don't like how patchy it is. It might just be because it's a deeper colour that you need to layer. The lip gloss, really comfy, not sticky, nicely pigmented. Lip liners are at A+++++, and this fucking eyeshadow, I will come back in like a minute and show you how badly this fucking thing creased. Hey guys, so it is now 4:10. That's got to be at least like 2 to 3 hours since I filmed my video. And as you can see, there is complete crease here and a complete crease here. And I put less liquid eyeshadow on than I normally do. Normally I just go, before I was just going in directly with the doe foot. And yes, I did top it up, but that's because I felt like I wasn't getting full pigment. Yeah, it still creases really badly. The lid stayed on a bit better, but considering I put an eyeshadow primer down, this is just really bad. I haven't tried any other black liquid eyeshadow, so I don't know if all of them do this. Maybe it's just because of the pigment, because it's so dark. To give you an update, would not recommend. I imagine all of the other shades are just as bad, so stay the fuck away. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you feel like it. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you were entertained, but I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!